Most execution problems don't show up in dashboards. They show up real time on the floor. They show up when someone pauses, when they hesitate before clicking submit, when they message an SME one more time just to be safe. And that's what's interesting is these are not untrained people. They've attended sessions, they've completed the modules, they've passed the assessments. And yet, when real work hits, execution feels fragile. So, the real question leaders need to ask isn't why aren't my people trained on my process or on my product? It's actually why do capable people still hesitate? That's what I want to talk about today. 10 reasons why capable, trained people still can't execute with perfection. For years, we have treated training as a fix for execution. If something goes wrong, we add more content. If quality dips, we add another module. If confidence is low, we schedule a refresher training. But training does one thing very well. It transfers knowledge. Execution, however, needs something else entirely. It needs judgment. Because when work gets messy, when timelines compress, when rules collide, when edge cases appear, people don't scroll back to the slide deck in their heads. They ask themselves one quiet question. Should I proceed? Is it safe? Should I ask somebody? If the answer isn't clear, execution slows. So the gap we see on the floor is not a knowledge gap. It is actually judgment gap. Let's talk about subject matter experts. Every delivery leader knows this pattern. Your best people become the most interrupted people. They answer the same questions. They unblock the same doubts. They become the safety net for your team. Not because the team is incapable, but because the system doesn't support confident decision making. So the SMEs absorb the uncertainty. And over time, something subtle happens. Execution speed drops. Growth feels harder. SMEs burn out and scaling becomes painful. This isn't a SME problem. It's a design problem. When a system relies on human availability for everyday judgment, it will always be a bottleneck. Great teams don't eliminate SMEs, they protect them by removing the need for them in routine decisions. For most leaders think readiness is an onboarding concern. Get people through the first 30 days, first 60 days, first 90 days, and they're ready. But honestly, that's not where execution breaks. Execution breaks during change, a new client, a new process, a new regulation, a new exception. That's where even experienced people hesitate. So, readiness isn't something you complete, it's something you maintain. The best organizations treat readiness as a continuous condition, not a milestone. Almost every organization has SOPs. They are detailed, they are correct, and they're approved. And yet, people still ask, can I proceed? Should I escalate? What if it doesn't fit? That's because SOPs can explain what to do, but execution happens at the moment of the decision. SOPs live in documents and lengthy documents, but decisions live in pressure. Teams that execute well don't rely on SOPs alone. They translate SOPs into decision guidance. If this happens, do this. If that's missing, stop and flag. That's how work actually happens. Now, here's something counterintuitive. Most important execution signals are not in standard cases. They are in exceptions, edge cases, ambiguous situations, um, almost fit scenarios. Most training avoids these because there are just so many of them. Great execution systems lean into them. Because how a team handles exceptions tells you everything about their maturity. If exceptions cause panic, readiness is low. If exceptions are handled calmly with clear judgment paths, execution scales. Because shadowing used to work. We've all done that in our respective roles. You watch someone to do the job, you picked it up over time, but to be honest with you, modern work doesn't allow that luxury. Teams are distributed, cycles are shorter, mistakes are costlier. Observation doesn't build confidence anymore. Practice does. Safe practice, simulated decisions, feedback without consequences. Confidence doesn't come from watching, it comes from trying safely before it matters. When people freeze, leaders often assume they don't know enough. But under pressure, knowledge is not what fails. Memory fails. Judgment patterns don't fail. People default to what they've practiced, not what they've read. Uh, that's why repetition matters more than the content. And scenarios matter more than the slides. Execution confidence is built in advance, not in the moment. Most leaders want to help. So they answer questions quickly. They step in early. They remove friction. And unintentionally, they train teams to ask instead of decide. They support too early, and that prevents the confidence from forming. The best leaders don't disappear. They change the nature of support. They create guardrails. They push decisions downward. They allow safe struggle. And that's how ownership grows. See, most dashboards show activity. We've all seen them. Training completed, modules finished, certifications earned. But is activity readiness? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves. The most valuable signal leaders can track is hesitation. Where do people pause? Where do they escalate? Where do they second guess? That's where execution risk lives. And that's where intervention actually is required to be done. Execution problems compound, and they compound quickly. They show up as slower activation, rework, escalations, burnout, attrition, even. By the time they're visible in numbers, the damage is already done. The best leaders don't wait for failure. They design systems that make confident execution the default. So, whether you use a platform or not, the shift is the same. Stop asking for more training. Start designing for better decisions. Because execution doesn't fail when people don't know what to do. It fails when they don't feel safe deciding. And the leaders who fix that don't just build ready teams, they build resilient ones. Thank you. This is the Readiness Gap, and my name is Sheetal.